सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकम् अनुपमितं कालदेशावधिभ्याम् निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनरुरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावद्भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्तभाग्यं जनानां योगीन्द्राणां त्वदङ्गेष्वधिकसुमधुरं मुक्तिभाजां निवासो भक्तानां कामवर्षत्युत्तरुकिसलयं नाथ ते पादमूलम् नित्यं चित्तस्थितं मे पवनपुरपते कृष्णा कारुण्यसिन्धो हृत्वा निःशेषतापान् प्रतिशतु परमानन्दसन्दोहलक्ष्मीम्। पूज्य श्री स्वामीजिಗೆ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಸಭಾ ಸಮುದ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಇಂದು 13ನೇ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ ಪ್ರಾತಸ್ಮರಣೀಯ ಗೋವಿಂದಾಚಾರ್ಯರ ಪುಣ್ಯಾರಾಧನೆ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯೋಜಿಸಿದ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಕರೆದಾಗ ನಿಜ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆದರಿಕೆ ಆಯ್ತು ನನಗೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರಷ್ಟು ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಅವಗಾಹನ, ವಿಷಯ ಪಟುತ್ವ ನನಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕೇವಲ ಹಿರಿಯರ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಭಾವಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ಇದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯ ಪಾಂಡಿತ್ಯ ಪ್ರದರ್ಶನವಲ್ಲ, ಕೇವಲ ಭಗವಂತನ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಪಾರ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಿಂದ ಹೊರಳುತ್ತಿರುವ ಮಾತುಗಳು. ಇಷ್ಟನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋರ್ and spend the next 54 minutes on the mahima of one namam, the namam that has brought all of us here today, the namam of Govinda. When we look at Sanatana Dharma's beauty, what stands out in this extraordinary way of life is that in every sub-field of Sanatana Dharma, every marga that goes towards paramatma, you will see that marga, and you will also see case studies of people in that marga who have attained Sadgati in that. Adu Vedanta irbodu, adu within the realms of Vedanta, you have 3 different schools. In all of them, you have Uddandas, you have people who have shown you that yes, indeed you can reach paramatma through Vedanta marga. You look at Sangeeta, you have the Sangeeta Trimurtis, you have Purandaradasaru, you have Kanakadasaru, you have all these people as examples to say through Sangeeta you can reach Bhagavan. Any Ranga you pick up, any Kshetra you pick up, that can take you to Paramatma. There is no doubt about that. The beauty is each of these Kshetras, whether it is Atma Vicharana, whether it is Samskara, whether it is Puja, whether it is Sangeeta, whether it is Natya, whether it is Nama Sankirtana, whichever it is, they are never contradictory philosophies. When you are immersed in one, the question is never, should I abandon everything else? Because if you look at any person in any of the margas, they give so much of gaurava, so much of respect to all the other margas. And today, before we talk about Govinda Nama Mahima, I want to spend a few minutes talking to us about the importance of how to look at a marga. Because Nama Sankirtanam, Nama Japam, is one of the margas to attain Paramatma. It is not to be mistaken, or it is not to be trivialized as a marga saying, oh, this is not as great as anything else. Because within this realm of Nama Sankirtana, there is a bhandaram, there is a treasure chest of bhaktas who have attained Bhagavat Sadgati through Namam and Namam alone. In this yuga, especially Namam has Pradhanya Sthanam. It has an Unnatonnata Sthanam. Alau Keshava Kirtanam, they say. In kalyoga, everything else is very difficult. Be it the Yajna Yagas of Satyuga, be it the Dharmacharana of the other yugas. But the easiest, yet the most powerful thing is Nama Sankirtana. So what is Nama Sankirtana? Is it to sing Paramatma's name? Is it to repeat it? Is it to sing it, to join bhajanas where it is happening? It is all of these things, but it is also more. Nama Sankirtana or Nama Japa, whatever you wish to call it, comes to us at a time in our lives, can come to us. I'm giving that disclaimer there. If it can come to us, if we are willing to see it, it can come to us in our lives and it can hold us through everything that we do. There was one Mahanubhava who became the Pithadipati. But when he was a small child, in his Purvashrama, he used to live in a village, and in that village there was a Mara, there was a tree that was believed to be haunted. A Mara pakkadalle there used to be a small pond. That also they believed was haunted. So he and his friends were about 8 or 9 years of age, and as is the case with young children, there's always discussion, oh, what about that, who is the bravest of us all, anta, there was a prashni. So they decided that the bravery award for the year will go to somebody who can spend the whole night under that Mara. This is the bravado of 8-year-old boys. So each of them tried, but each of them failed and came back. One amongst them said, I will go. When his turn came, he confidently went and he said, I will spend the whole night there, and to prove to you that I am indeed there, because ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ WhatsApp video calls ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. So to prove to you that I am indeed there, just before I come back at Prata Sandhya Kalam, I will go and I will have snanam in that pond. ಆವಾಗ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಮನೆಗೆ. You will all know clearly that I have been there. So he went there and he spent the whole night in that place that was believed to be haunted by Bhuta Pretas. Today's discussion is not about Bhuta Pretas, so I will not go into details of what was there. But he came back. He had a bath and he came back in wet clothes, and all his friends were surprised about what happened. Many, many years later, he revealed about this, saying that when he spent the whole night there, he did not go alone. He took a companion with him. He took a friend. That friend was Ramanama. Because he took that friend there the whole night, he didn't feel he was alone for 1 second. That Mahanubhava is none other than Sri Abhinava Vidyatirtha Swami of the Sringeri Parampara. This is the sthanam given to Namam, that Namam can become your friend. We are so conditioned, the human mind is automatically conditioned to believe our companions are only the people in physical shape and form who are with us. But Sanatana Dharma is not telling us that. Sanatana Dharma is telling us that your companion is that person who will be with you when nobody else is there. What is the definition of that moment? Antakalam. In that moment, when the jiva is about to go from the shariram, in that moment, even if somebody is physically around you, they do not know what you are experiencing inside. In that moment, there is only one thing that can hold you. That is Bhagavat Nama. That is why Paramatma said in the Gita that what you think of in that last moment, that is where you will come. So here lies the fundamentals of how to approach Paramatma through Nama. Because Paramatma said, in that moment, if you are holding Bhagavat Namam where? On your lips, in your heart. If you hold Bhagavat Namam with you then you will come to me, there is no doubt of it. But how can you guarantee that that will happen? On what basis can you say that in that moment Bhagavat Namam will come? Because you don't know. We don't know. Science may advance. Everything else in this world may advance, but there is no way of ascertaining what kshana a jiva will come and what kshana a jiva will go, because that is in Paramatma's hands alone. So you don't know what the situation may be when you have to go. What if you are unconscious? What if you are in a coma? What if you go in an accident? What if any of these things happen to you? How will you have Nama on your lips then? That is why Bhagavat Tattvam is all about spending your whole life doing Nama, because in that moment, whatever you spend your time throughout your life doing, that is the only thing that will come back to you in that moment. To explain this much of a philosophy, Bhagavata Mahapurana gives us a beautiful story of somebody who spent his whole life obsessed with what? With everything that he should not be, but he did one Sukrita. He named his son Narayan. That was as far as his Sukrita account went. Open and close ಎರಡು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಆಯ್ತು. In that last moment, he was thinking, ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಆಸ್ತಿನ, ನನಗೆ ಡೌಟು. Anta he called him Narayana, Narayana, ade time ge prana hoyitu. And then what happened? We all know Yamudutas came, Vishnu Dutas came and said, no, he comes to Vaikuntha. Why? Because of Narayana Namasmaran. What is the inference most of us have out of this? I can live my life however I want. Like Ajamila, if I say Narayana, I will have guarantee, I will have written guarantee for Swarga. That's not what the point of this is. The point is, without even recognizing the power of the name, if it is with you as your companion, it will do this much for you. Vishnu Dutas will come for you. Imagine if you recognize the power of the name, where it will take you. That is the apara mahima of Nama. And to get you used to saying it your whole life, Ajamila used to run behind his son. He was a helicopter parent, always obsessing only with his son. When you obsess around something, that is what you will remember in the last minute. To highlight that only, this Bhagavat Katha, this Bhagavatottama Katha is told. Ajamila is not a Bhagavatottama, but this Katha features in Bhagavatam to talk about the importance of how you can live your life with Namam as your companion. That Namam will come in the last moment and it will hold you up. So when you look at a Namam like this, which Namam of Paramatma is powerful? ತುಂಬ ಆಕ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಟೈಟಲ್ ಗೋವಿಂದ ನಾಮ ಮಹಿಮಾ, ಸೊ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಗೋವಿಂದ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವೆಲ್ರು. ಟುಮಾರೋ ರಾಮನವಮಿ ಐ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ರಾಮನಾಮ ಇಸ್ ದ ಗ್ರೇಟೆಸ್ಟ್. The point is, whichever nama speaks to your jiva, stay consistent with that nama. Be with that nama so much that when you are waking up, when you are sleeping, when you are bathing, when you are doing dhyana, when you are talking to people, let that nama be at the back of your head. This is what Hiriyaru used to do. When they would be shocked, they would say Shiva Shiva, Rama Rama. Because they have trained their mind that nama can neutralize anything and everything in your life. But you have to give nama that space. We may not have time in today's lives to have elaborate, many of us live very, very busy lives. We may not have the kind of flexibility to sit for hours at a stretch and do dhyana. We may not have the freedom, the luxury to spend all our time on Bhagavat Chintana. If all these are permitted on one hand, saying, okay, this life is different, there is an external world I have to respond to. What is stopping us from sitting with the Nama? What is stopping us from saying every waking second, whatever I do, I will have that Namam as my companion. When we approach Nama Sankirtanam or Nama Japam with this attitude, the way that we look at Namam will change. So in this context, before we speak about Govinda Nama Mahima, two questions that can help us understand a little bit about how do we chant a Namam and how do we hear a Namam. Because Bhagavat Namam has Bhagavan's entire Shakti is in Bhagavat Namam. So how do you hear it? And how do you chant it? First of all, chanting Bhagavat Namam, every single time you chant it, you should chant it as if it is your last breath and this is the last time you're going to chant that Namam. How much bhavam you will put in that final Nama Japam, that much you chant it like that once and see what it does to you. So don't just mindlessly repeat it because somebody said Nama Japam is good and they said if you do 1008 Rama Nama Japam, 100% on Ram Navami, this is the phalam you will get. When we try to do shopping with devatas, it doesn't work. If you want a phalam from the Namam, you will get it. But are you doing it for the phalam alone? When you hear the Namam, how should you hear Bhagavat Namam? As if your best friend is whispering the most secretive of secrets which only you know. When he is about to whisper it into your ear, how many of you will pay attention very attentively? I will pay attention. That attentively you listen to someone else chanting or your own self-chanting Nama. When you say Rama, listen to how Rama sounds in the body. See what it does to you. When you do that, that Nama Japam is equal to Koti Koti Ashwamedha Yajna. Not simply if you just chant it for the sake of chanting it. That's not what Namam should be about. When you hear it like this, when you chant it like this, the way you develop a relationship with Namam will change the way you live. That is why Govindra also said to Bhagavan himself, Nin yako, who needs you? Ninna han yako, who needs a favor from you? Ninna namada bala ondidare sako. If I have the power of your name, it's enough. You look at any story of extraordinary devotees, They called out to Paramatma using Paramatma's name. Draupadi called out to Paramatma's name. Gajendra called out to Paramatma's name. He said Adimula, not even a name corresponding to a form. But that name, the vibration of that name is such that it brings Paramatma in what form Paramatma has to come for you, he will come for you. That is the power of Namam, that the Namam will decide what Rupam has to come for you in what way. With this backdrop, against this backdrop, Ivattindana will explore one particular Namam that has a very, very special place in our itihasas, in our sampradayas. Because, as I asked earlier, which Namam is powerful? Any Namam is powerful. But the beauty is, each Namam of Bhagavan will have one very contextual meaning. For example, in the Devi Mahatmyam, there is a yuddha that happens between Kaushiki, the goddess, with two Rakshasas and their entire Sainyam. These Rakshasas are Shumbha and Nishumbha, and Shumbha and Nishumbha have a host of other Rakshasas in their army. So amongst them, two of the Rakshasas are Chanda and Munda. Now Kaushiki creates one Shakti from her. This Shakti goes and kills Chanda and Munda, and she comes with the heads of Chanda and Munda. She comes in front of Kaushiki and she says, "No, samhara maridini." So she says, henceforth, because you have killed Chanda and Munda, you will be known as Chamunda. This is the contextual name. But Chamunda Namam existed before this katha happened. Take Bhagavatam itself as an example. Krishna is called Vasudeva. Why is he called Vasudeva? Because he is the son of Vasudeva. Krishna Katha comes in which skandam of Bhagavatam? Ashdot Beda, Dashama Skanda. 10th chapter of Bhagavatam is the story of Vasudeva's son Vasudeva. In the same Bhagavatam, much earlier, comes the story of Dhruva. And Dhruva receives the Vasudeva mantram from Narada much before Krishna Katha happens. So Vasudeva Namam existed before this Swarupam came. There is a context appropriate name saying for this context, this Namam is suiting perfectly, but that Namam existed before that. In Ramayana, there is a beautiful moment when Rama and Lakshmana are looking for Sitama. And in that moment, they are trying to find Sugriva because somebody has told them, Kabandha has told them, go towards Sugriva, he will be able to help you find Sita. So when they are going, they pass an ashrama. Ashrama ಒಳಗೆ ಯಾರೋ ಕೂತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. They don't see that person, they're just going. But that person inside, she's a vriddha stri. She's a mahatapaswini. She's inside, she sees them going from outside. And she says, Rama. Lakshmana Swami hears it before Ramachandra and he says, Rama, this is the Nama. The Nama she's calling you from, that Nama is what Veda has called you as. Veda refers to him as Rama. Later in Ramayana, that Veda Sarupa Bhagavan comes. Nama comes first, Rupa comes later. You want to see the example of this in your own life? Chant one Namam. Don't keep a count saying, I'll chant 1008 and simply give some new devices money. There's a new japa meter, etc., etc. I'm saying instead of focusing only on that, just keep chanting. See what Rupam that Namam will take you to. Because one Namam is not parimitam to one Rupa. One Namam can take you and show you any Rupam that it wants to. That Rupam, that Namam have some beautiful connections. And today, we look at that particular Namam called Govinda. So when does Paramatma earn this name Govinda? Sorry? When because he's grazing the cows, Govinda, okay. So that refers to which avatar? Krishna avatar. Again, Dashamaskandam. The difficulty with this Dashamaskandam is if it comes, it will warrant a week, not 45 minutes. So we will come to Dashamaskandam a little later. But in the same Bhagavata Mahapuranam comes a very beautiful katha. This katha comes at the beginning of Srishti. When Brahmadeva has made Swayambhuva Manu, and he tells Swayambhuva Manu and his Dharmapatni Shatarupa that they must establish Dharma on Bhuloka. So he gives them an elaborate treatise on how they need to set the precedent of dharma andre duty Allah. We need to come out of this as a civilization to constantly stop equating Samskrita non-translatables into poor English equations. Graha is not equal to planet, and this dharma is certainly not equal to duty. It's a much bigger concept and a discussion for another day. So today we will call it only dharma. So he says you must establish dharma on Bhuloka. For this, go and populate the earth and rule it with dharma. So Manu says, Khandita, I'll do this. I'll take your Ajna. But ಈ ಭೂಲೋಕ ಎಲ್ಲಿರೋದು? Brahma says, ಈಗಲೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ. He says, ಅದು ನನಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. And they're both panicking because the Srishti that Brahma created is nowhere to be seen. And that is when he realizes that Bhuloka is drowning in Rasatala, the lowest of the realms. And in that moment, Brahma thinks to himself, the person from whom I came him, this is his problem to solve. Sharanagati means this in one sentence. The person from whom I came, this is his problem to solve. Idu nandallappa tale novu nindu. Neen nodko. But hangeli he didn't chill. The second he said that, he said, let me meditate on that source where I came from. He will tell me to do what I have to do next. So Brahma goes into dhyana. When Brahma goes into dhyana, from his right nostril, Angushta Pramana says the Bhagavatam. Angushta, just the size of a thumb, comes out a small white beam of light from his right nostril. Brahmadeva doesn't know who it is. He doesn't know what it is. And slowly that form of light becomes a boar. And he looks at this boar, and in seconds, what was just this much becomes massive. And Brahmadeva is doing a namaskaram to it in front of him, and immediately it jumps into the waters, because everywhere it is Ekarnavam, the endless waters. And near Vadag Hogi, he goes all the way. This boar, this Varaha is the name of a boar. This boar goes all the way up to the base of Rasatala, and there he sees Bhudevi. He also sees somebody else with Bhudevi, and that is the Rakshasa by name Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha is supposed to be very, very valiant, very powerful. But in front of Varaha's Pratapam, he doesn't stand for very long at all. So Varaha does the Samhara of Hiranyaksha, all that blood falls on him, still with so much of courage. And the Bhagavatam says something so beautiful. Have any of you ever seen a wild boar? If you've ever noticed one, perhaps when you go on a safari to Bandipur or anywhere, you would have noticed they're very different from pigs. They look very, very scary because there is a fierceness in the tusks. And the Bhagavatam writes saying, this Varaha Swami looks extraordinary because the fierceness of the tusks is balanced by the karunyam of the eyes. So that is why none of the devatas are scared of this Swarupa. But they don't know, it is an Adbhuta Avataram, they don't know what he's going to do. So this Varaha Swarupam, after killing Hiranyaksha, he picks up Bhudevi and he brings her up to the level that she's supposed to be, and he firmly places her there. Now, the interesting thing about this avataram is that as he places her there, his tusks impregnate the earth. So it is believed that all life from below the surface of the earth found its basis from there. Number one. Two interesting things again about this avataram. When he impregnated the earth's surface was flat. When tusks bore through the earth and they came out, everywhere where there was samatvam, in certain places it became uneven. Samatvam in Sanskritam is even, and it became asamam. It became uneven in some places. One place where that asamatvam was felt, that asama became asama kshetra. That is the reason that it is called Assam, what we know as modern Assam. That is where Yajnavaraha's tusks bore through the earth. That is the northeastern part of the country which is filled with mountain ranges. That is the Varaha Kshetra, that entire area. That idea extends into something else. As he came out like this, Brahmadeva and the other devatas began to do a stuti to him. And they said this Swarupam is called Yajnavaraha Swarupam. Bhagavatam describes how his entire body is Yajna Swarupa. This Varaham, as he picked up Bhudevi, Bhudevi has many names. One of the names of Bhudevi is Go. Bhudevi is called as Go. Now, because he is picking up Bhudevi, the one who uplifted and the one who protected is called as Vindate, or that is the verb root of it. So the one who picked up Bhudevi is called as Govinda. So that Swarupam of Varaha is called as Govinda. If you think about this, you all know this. That is why when you go to one kshetram, all the time in that kshetram, we are all saying this namam only. Govinda, Govinda. Which kshetram? Who is the Moola Virat in Tirupati? Who does the land belong to? That namam is for Varaha Swami. Whether you know it or not, every time you step onto Tirumala and you say Govinda, it is going to Varaha Swami. That bhavam. Now you know it. Now you chant at Tirumala hill saying Govinda namam. It is entirely going to Varaha Swami. That bhavam when you have towards a namam, this much is hidden inside a namam, that namam means the swarupam that picked up the earth. So this is one aspect of Govinda namam. When something is slipping in your life and you need to be picked up and you cannot pick yourself up, in that moment Paramatma will come in some swarupam and he will pick you up. This is what the Tatparya of Govinda namam means. Take the same example. Bhudevi slipping down under. Varaha Swami came and picked her up. Someone else was also slipping. Bhudevi was slipping into Samudra. Someone else was also slipping into Shoka Samudra because she had been kidnapped and had been kept away from her husband. And at that time somebody came to protect her and to tell her Rama will come soon. Who was that? Anjaneya Swami has how many heads? What are the 5 heads? Kapi Mukham, the Vanara Mukham, then Narasimha Mukham, Garuda Mukham, Hayagriva Mukham and Varaha Mukham. Varaha Swarupam of Anjaneya means what? There it was Bhudevi, in the story of Varaha Swami, it is Bhudevi who is slipping into Samudram. Varaha Swami came and picked her up. Here it is Janaki, Bhudevi Putri, who is slipping in Shoka Samudram. Varaha Swami, in the form of Anjaneya Swami, came and picked her up. Same bhavam. What is the connecting link? Govinda Namam. Bhagavat Namam will pick you up. When you don't know how you can uplift yourself, that Namam will pick you up. When will it pick you up? When you have remained faithful to that Namam. Sita was faithful to that Namam. That Rama Nama was her life, her pranam. And that Rama Nama took another form as Govinda, took another form as Anjaneya Swami, and then came and picked her up saying, Chipram Dakshasi Raghavam, you will soon see Raghava. Bhagavat Namam can do that for you. So this is one aspect of Govinda Nama. But you will see something very beautiful here. Varaha Swami is the first indication in Govinda Namam that there are 2 elements here, Prithvi Tattvam and Jala Tattvam. Whenever these 2 elements combine, there is one Namam that has a special connection to this. This is Varaha Swarupam, as you just saw. Idondu. There is another context in which he comes again as Govinda. Now this context is particularly beautiful. This story not only appears in the Bhagavatam, but also appears to us in multiple Puranas. Because Vyasa was so fascinated with this particular leela, that is in many books referred to as the Govinda leela, that here he brought out Paramatma's Purna Tattva. And if you see when this leela comes, it comes at a time in the story when by now Krishna has taken avatara and he has won the hearts of everybody in Vrajabhumi. Everybody loves Krishna. So much so that their love overpowers the fact that he is Paramatma. There is one very beautiful shloka which says, in the Krishna Karnamritam, the shloka comes in which one day he looks at Yashoda. Yashoda is about to put him to bed. So he looks at Yashoda and he says, how much she loves me. I also want to show her how much I love her. Let me show her who I really am. Anta Krishna ankoltane. So he says, how can I show her how much I love her? I'll show her my Nijaswarupa. I have no fear of being judged. No, I have no No hesitation to tell her, this is who I am. When we love somebody, when we trust somebody deeply, we tell them our deepest secrets. Paramatma's deepest secret is to tell us who he is. So he opens his mouth. This is not the mud eating episode. So he opens his mouth. When he opens his mouth, he shows her Kailasagiri. And he shows her Ksheerasagara inside them. One, the residence of Paramashiva, one, the residence of Narayana. He shows all of this inside her mouth. Yashoda sees that Kailasagiri and she says, Bedagge he ate benne, innu digest aglilla adu papa. She sees that Kshira and she says, Papa, acidity banbidutte avನಿಗೆ ಈ ಹಾಲು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಇದ್ರೆ. He has shown her the deepest of the deep secrets of his Atma Sarupam, that all these lokas are within him. Brahmanda Kukshi is his name, the one who has Brahmandas in his mouth. She can only see, Ayo, nin magan papa, sariyagi ಊಟನೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅವನು, ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ನೋವು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ. That is Prema Bhavam. But that Prema Bhavam is so overpowering in Krishna Katha that when he has to do something, everybody will just listen to him. That is the level of love that they have for him. So this leela that comes now comes at a time when whatever Krishna says, they will do. And having said that, Krishna doesn't make them do anything and everything. He thinks and makes them think. So Krishna comes on one particular occasion and he sees that everybody is getting ready for a certain yajnam of sorts. So Bandhu Kutkondu, he pretends as if he knows nothing. Appa, he calls Nanda. So Nanda tells him this is an annual utsava that we do for Indra. And this, all of the samarpana that we do is because Indra gives us parjanya, clouds. From there come rain. That rain is what sustains our crop. So we are doing this as thanksgiving. You will see variations in different, in Bhagavata it's a little different, in Brahmavaivarta Purana it's a little different, in Krishna Karnamritam it's a little different. Everywhere this episode highlights something different. But everywhere in all the episodes one thing is common. Krishna asks a question. Why? Nanda says, because Indra gives us rain, so we must be thankful to him. Why? Because he gives us rain and without his rain we would be nothing. Why? What do you mean why? No. Aren't we all dependent on our own karma? What is Indra got to do with this? Okay, we will do this Indra Puja. Indra moksha kodtana nange? Nim ellargu Indra moksha kodtana? Krishna asks. Nanda says, Adella nanige gottilla. Please don't ask all these complicated questions. I have been asked to do it, I will do it. Now this may seem like a doubt that many parents have when children ask the question, why? But the difference is, the person who is asking is Jagat Guru. Number one. Number two, he is asking not to do tiraskarana. It is not that he is against the ritual, but he is asking because he is making Nanda think, am I really doing this out of gratitude or am I doing it out of fear? There is a big difference. Most of the time we think we are doing it out of gratitude, but somewhere there is some hidden element of fear. That if I don't do this, dash. That fear distances us from Paramatma. That fear stops us from loving him. So, Krishna identifies that. That is Krishna's sukshmati sukshma tattva. That he will take that fear and pull it out. So he tells Nanda, karma is what is dictating what we are doing. And we must do Bhagavat Aradhana, no doubt about it. But we must do Aradhana of Paramatma in such a way that Paramatma should be able to give us moksha. So we have to do Aradhana of such a Paramatma. You are saying Indra cannot give us that, no? Then let us do Aradhana of all those Swarupams which are equivalent to Paramatma. For example, cows. These cows are Bhagavat Swarupam. Let us do Aradhana for them. And he gives a host of examples and then he says, this mountain over here, this mountain is also Paramatma. This mountain is Govardhana. Because all the cows that we are calling Paramatma, they eat from this mountain. So if you do it for them, do it for this mountain. I think this is the best idea. What do you think? He asks. He asks this. What will they say? Nanda is so smitten. Whatever Krishna says, he'll do anyway. It's an idea, madana. So this immediately is taken into effect and all the yajna, ahutis, everything that was meant to be a samarpana for Indra now is distributed amongst everybody who has come, because Krishna said feeding somebody is equivalent to doing a yajnam. So feed everybody in Vrajabhumi. Feeding them itself feeds the Jatar Agni. It feeds the Agni inside. Feed them. All that is done, and he asks for all these offerings to be given to Govardhana Parvata. So this happens, and then Krishna does one leela which nobody notices. He comes out of himself in a massive swarupam. He looks like the mountain, and he pretends as if the mountain is eating everything. And then he tells everybody, Nodu, Nodu, Govardhana Parvata is accepting our offering, wonderful, wonderful, Anta. But Krishna can do all this because he is Krishna. So this happens, everyone is happy, except Indra. Because Indra is used to this annual tax. So he says, who is this boy to step in and to stop a system that has been happening for centuries? Let me show him who I am. So Indra sends down, we know, 1 week of rain. We know in Bangalore what a nightmare it is. And as Indra sends that down, all the gopis, all the gopas, all the Vrajavasis come running to Krishna saying one thing, Govindam Sharanagatam. Sharanagatam to Govinda. This is a very interesting thing because he has not yet been called Govinda in this leela, but they've already said Sharanagati to Govinda. The second they say that, Krishna says, nobody has anything to worry, you come. And he lifts up Govardhana Parvata with his left hand, and he says, you all stay here till the rains stop. It's so beautiful to see in this leela the way different people react to him. In Krishna Karnamritam, Leela Shuka says, Yashoda looked at him with motherly pride saying, Nan maga yen marta idane. He's holding up a mountain. Yashoda's eyes have so much pride. That putra prema and the putra garva in a positive way. The gopis think, Nan lover, yen lover pa, you know. He's able to hold up a mountain. Indra is looking with doubt. Who is he? That is his doubt. And all the devatas and all the rishis are doing stuti. These are the 4 ways in which Paramatma is looked at. Either with extreme pride when you believe he is my person. Number 1, that is the bhavan you should have when you go to your Kuladevata. He is my person. This is how we act actually towards celebrities. When suddenly somebody becomes famous, we'll say, oh, you know what? I used to meet their mothers, neighbors, sisters, daughters, friend, actually in my gym class, you know. Because we want to establish a connection with them. We're all about establishing connection to humans. Establish a relationship with God. If your Kuladevam is somebody who's taking care of so many people, say, oh, that's my Kuladevam. That Venkatramana is my Kuladevam. Build that relationship with him. So, this is the second way of looking at him. Third is with doubt. This doubt problem Hiranyakashipu had. We've spoken about him for 2 hours on another occasion in another Mahakshetram. So that is an entirely different discussion. And the last is, but that is another extraordinary bhava. When you don't know what is happening, Rama Prabhavad Ashcharyam Hanumanta said. Ashcharya agta ide, namaskara martini. Sakku. Any of these 4 will actually take you closer to him. Doubt is the longest way, also the most dramatic way. So if you want to embark on that journey, that's a discussion for another day. But these are the 4 ways in which Paramatma is being looked at. So, at the end of the 7th day, the rains stop. And then all of the Vrajavasis look at the sky, which is blue, after 1 whole week of dark clouds. And Krishna tells them, it's safe outside. Step out. The Gopas, Krishna's best friends, they all look at Krishna and they say, Krishna, one vara tanka papa neene, you held that entire mountain up. We'll also manage. Okay, pa, if you're insisting so much, Anta, Krishna gives it to them. In 1 second, they start screaming, Attila, Attila, Attila. It's okay. He picks it back, allows them all to leave, and he places the mountain back. All this is related to our title. So, right after this happens, the Vrajavasis are thrilled, saying, our Krishna who could do so many things could also do this. But this Leela happened for 2 sets of people. One is the Vrajavasis, second is for Indra. For Indra's Garva Samharam. To teach Indra that this is not just a boy. This is the source of you also. So Indra comes with his kiritam bowing down at Krishna's feet, and he says, Tap madidin nanu. Indra's greatest samskara. We love to mock Indra about his insecurities, but what we never observe is how does Indra behave after his garva has been. Indra always asks for kshamapana. That is samskara. So he comes and he bows down in front of him saying, I did not realize who you are. I did not realize that you are Paramatma. Accept this as my forgiveness. The same moment Indra is saying this, somebody else has also come with Indra. This is Surabhi. Surabhi is the Divya Go, one of the divine cows that lives in Amaravati. She also came at the time of Sagara Manthanam. So Surabhi is also there. She has come with Indra now. And she tells Krishna, you protected all of the Vrajavasis. You protected all of the Vrajavasis. You protected everybody who depended on you. The word go in Sanskritam means prana. The word go also means jiva. Govinda means somebody who protects jivas. Govinda means somebody who protects pranas. And you did this for everybody. Henceforth, you shall be called Govinda, O Krishna. This is what Surabhi says to him. And she says, I will not leave it like that. I want to have a sanmana for you, for the world to be knowing that you should be called Govinda. You alone are entitled to that name Govinda because you protected all of those jivas dependent on you. So how will I have the Sanmana Karikrama for you? And she says, the Sanmana Karikrama, I will pour all the Divya Kshiram, the divine milk that is in me, and all the other divine cows, we will pour it on you. And after we pour it on you, the Pattabhishekam that happens for you, because in a Pattabhishekam, water is poured on the king. The Samudra Jalas are all brought and poured on the king. Instead of those Samudra Jalas, we will bring Divya Kshiram and we will pour it on you. As we pour that on you, we will give you that name that you already have, but it will be reinforced as Govinda, the protector of his bhaktas. This is what Surabhi says to him, and Krishna says, Agli. And he's sitting there on Govardhana Parvatam. When he's sitting there, she comes and pours the milk. 2 drops of that milk fell into one kunda, one saras over there, that is called Govinda Kunda today. When you do the Govardhana Parikrama, you will see them there. That is an extremely powerful spot to go there and do Govinda Nama Sankirtanam, because he sat over there. He may physically not be visible to the eyes, but that Swarupam is still there. So this entire thing happened and he came to be known as Govinda. Now, is this the end of Govinda Leela? Why did so many people call this Govinda Leela? Govinda is the name that he got in the end, or did he have it earlier? He had it earlier because all of them said Govindam Sharanagatam. Sharanagati to you, O Govinda. So there is something about this Leela that has fascinated the hearts of not only Puranakattas but Kavis that came later. Because they looked at 2 things, not only one. One is, yes, Indra sent down downpour, he wanted a massive umbrella Krishna, so he used the Parvata. Why this Parvata? And what is its connection to Govinda Nama? This Parvata that he lifted, what is this Parvata called? Govardhana Parvata. Go. Some powerful name that is. So this Parvata also has its own story. In Krishna Avataram, nothing is inanimate. Everything comes with its own life, its own journey that brought it. Nothing is accidental in Krishna Avataram. Krishna Avataram is the final journey for every jiva that wanted to experience Paramatma. Same is the case with Govardhana Parvata. Govardhana Parvata, in his eternal loka, Krishna created Govardhana Parvata from his Hridayam. And this Parvata kept growing in front of him. This is in Goloka Dhamam, Parandhama, it is not here in Bhuloka. In his Parandhama, from him came this massive mountain. It started to grow and Krishna stopped it saying, Sako, Samadana, don't grow bigger than this. So this is how Govardhana was there in Goloka. How did Govardhana come to Bhuloka then? The story says that Dronachala is one of the Maha Parvatas in Bharatavarsha. We have a beautiful sampradayam which many elders would know, that when you wake up in the morning, along with doing a namaskaram to Bhudevi, we also do a namaskaram to all the Parvatas. those Mahaparvatas, amongst them Himalaya Parvatas and all the Parvatas that protect Bharatavarsha, because in those Parvatas are Munis who are doing tapas constantly, because of whom we are safe. That is our Sampradayam. That's how we wake up. We don't wake up with a WhatsApp notification. That amongst such Parvatas is Dronachala Parvata or Dronachala. So this Drona Parvata and his wife, they had a son. That son is this Govardhana Parvata. So Govardhana Parvata is growing with Dronachala. It's suggestive language. When you say it's his son, it means it's one of the peaks of that mountain. So one day, one rishi by name Pulastya came. Pulastya came and he saw this beautiful young Govardhana Parvata, and he tells Dronachala, ನಾನು ಕಾಶಿ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ. ಕಾಶಿ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಗಂಗಾ ಇದೆ, ವಿಶ್ವನಾಥ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಲ್ ಮಹಾಪುಣ್ಯ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರಾಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಬೀಜರೂಪ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಾಶಿ. ಬಟ್ ಕಾಶಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದೊಂದು ಬೆಟ್ಟ. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಮೌಂಟೇನ್ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗಿವ್ ಮಿ ಯುವರ್ ಸನ್, ಮೌಂಟೇನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಂಟರ್ಟೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರೆಕ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಲೋನ್. Mountains are for rishis to do tapas. So, if Kashi Kshetra has this mountain, your son, then so many Mahayogis will go there and do tapas. So, Dronachala is very, very reluctant to send his son. Putra Moha, Jasti, Dasharatantara. So he says, Pulastya says, Kalste Alva. Sari Kalstini Pahanta. Dronachala has agreed to send his son. Govardhana meanwhile looks at Pulastya Muni and he says, one day one condition nanigide. Suppose you put me down, I'll stay back there only. You carry me in your right hand, and if you put me down at any place, at that time, I will stay back there. So Pulastya Muni agrees. Through his tapashakti, he carries him. And he brings him all the way from the mountains down. As he is passing through Vrajabhumi, in that moment, Govardhana's heart starts to beat frantically, because he remembers where he has come from, and that Goloka over there is recreated here in Bhuloka. So he recognizes, I want to be here, I want to be here, I want to be here. Yen madli nanu? He cannot tell Pulastya Muni that. Pulastya Muni has dropped location of Kashi Kshetra only. Alle bittar avaru. So suddenly, using his own tapashakti, he makes Pulastya Muni answer the call of nature. So Pulastya Muni has to put down the mountain. When he puts him down, Govardhana is at great ease. He is so happy. He says, this is the kshetram I want to be. He wants to touch the ground of Vrindavan. That is a bhakta. That is a Krishna bhakta. In Vrindavanam, it is not about going to a Krishna mandiram. The ground of Vrindavanam, a bhakta will hug that. So Govardhana is doing that, and Pulastya realizes what has just happened. And he curses Govardhana saying, you tricked me into this. Naan ninig shapa kodta idini ivaga. That every day you will reduce by the size of one mustard seed. That is the shapa that I am giving you. Because Govardhana Parvata was a massive Parvata. Govardhana is even happier with the shapa. If you actually, several of you might have done Govardhana Parikrama or had Govardhana Darshana, you will see, you would probably, before going, you might have expected a massive mountain. Al hodmela solpa anticlimactic avi you would have been wondering, idena? Because it's flattened out in many parts. But that is because of Pulastya's curse. But Govardhana did not view that as a curse. He viewed that as a blessing. Bhakta samskara. He said, every day if my size reduces, what does that mean? Every day if a parvata like this is becoming smaller, it means it's becoming flatter. It means more of that surface is touching the ground. It means I will be hugging Vrindavana Bhumi eternally. Idikinta sukrita yenu nanage anta Govardhana thought. One shapa now vara, only a bhakta can make it in his heart. So he is happy and he stays back over there. This happens much before Krishna Avataram. Before Krishna Avataram, one more phenomenal Avataram happens. Which is that? Rama Avataram. So in Rama Avataram, Salpa, there was a requirement for construction materials. For which activity? Setu Bandhana. So for Setu Bandhana, stones were needed. So all the stones that were there at Samudra Tiram were used up. So Rama gave notification to Hanuman saying, can you go and bring from Uttara Bharatam, can you bring the mountains that you see? So Hanuman brought a few mountains and their stones were used. Hanuman realized, oh, innu shortage ide. So he went back. And when he went back, he saw one mountain waiting. That mountain thought, all these other mountains, you know what's happening to them? Their stones, Rama's charana sparsha will happen on these stones. Rama's feet will touch the head of these stones. Idikinta, what is an adrushta? What bigger a sukritam? I also want this, I also want this, I also want this. Anta, he starts thinking this. Hanumanta is going above him, above Govardhana Parvata, and he sees this. He sees Govardhana Parvata wanting this. So he goes down and he thinks this is the right Parvata for this cause. And as he touches down, he's about to pick Govardhana Parvata when Hanuman has one extraordinary habit. Yen madidru, he'll do Ramanama Smarana. So he just does Rama in his heart of hearts, and one voice tells him, the bridge is ready. No more stones are required. So Hanuman decides not to remove Govardhana Parvata. Imagine Govardhana Parvata state. Hanuman was going precisely for this work. He spotted Govardhana Parvata. He was about to pick him up. And he just got this notification that no, not required. What will he feel? This is when stories become real. In our lives, do opportunities come when we feel this came this close to me, but it exited suddenly? Isn't that cruel? The same Rama who has so much compassion, where is the compassion for Govardhana Parvata? That question Rama asked before we asked it. Hanuman understood what was happening and he went back quietly. When Krishna, much later after Ramayataram, when Krishna was holding up Govardhana Parvatam, he had a conversation with Govardhana Parvatam in which he said, in my previous avatara, when I came as Ramachandra, you wanted my charana sparsha to be on your head. That is the level of bhakti and sharanagati that you had. And for that I said the phala should not be ordinary. In this avatara, I will come and place you on top of my head. That is the way he honors bhaktas. Go means bhakta. Govinda is the protector of bhaktas. That is how he protects a bhakta. And see the iconography of that Govinda Murti. He holds the mountain above himself. He holds bhakta above himself. Bhagavan is below, bhakta is above. That is the sthanam he gave for bhakti. Govinda Nama talks about the power of bhakti. When he set down Govardhana over there, Krishna remains there as Govinda Nama Swarupa. If you do a parikrama of Govardhana Giri with Govinda Nama on your lips, there are physical examples of people who have seen Krishna Leelas happening just as Bhagavatam is writing it, happening there. For that, you need to be able to go with Chitta Shuddhi. You need to be able to go without an expectation. You cannot ask. You need to be in such a state of aikyam with that Nama that as that Nama unfolds a leela in front of you, you will be able to bow down in Sharanagati and say, thank you for showing me this. For that to happen in any lifetime from now or any moment from now, that Nama Japam should begin now. That is the power of Nama Japam. It will show you what it has to when it has to. And this is one more leela of Govinda. But Go also means something else. Go means, as I said, prana. Vinda is the one who protects. Protecting prana is something that Paramatma does every morning. Because if that Swarupam does not come, there will be no life on this earth. Because that Swarupam protects our prana through his kiranas. Go also means kiranas. Which Swarupam am I talking about? Surya Bhagavan. Look at Surya and say Govinda. If you do this, your attitude towards Surya will change. Govinda is not restricted to one form. One namam, we saw 3 forms associated with it. This is just 3. There are so many more. But if you hold on to the namam, the rupam that is required for you will come and protect you. This swarupam protected so many people. This Govinda namam is the namam that Draupadi read out. When she was being disrobed in public, she said, Govinda Pundarikaksha Rakshamam Sharanagatam. That Govinda came as not only then, that Govinda Swarupa or that Rakshaka Swarupa in Govinda Namam came and protected Draupadi on one more instance. I've shared this earlier, but in the context of Govinda Namam, it's that much more relevant. When Draupadi is in Ajnatavasa, at that time, when they are in incognito, not incognito tab, when they're supposed to be living in disguise for 1 year of their Vanavasam, Draupadi has been spotted by the queen's brother, Kichaka. Kichaka is a very, very lecherous man and he wants Draupadi physically. So he tells his sister, send her to my room. Draupadi says, no, I don't want to go, but she doesn't have a choice because she's in disguise as the maid of the queen. So she goes towards Kichaka's chamber. As she goes there, she looks up into the sky at night when there is no Surya and she says, Rakshamam Sharanagatam. One version says, she says Govinda Namam there also. But whatever it is, she looks at the sky and says, Surya, protect me. She goes into Kichaka's chamber. As soon as Kichaka sees her, he pulls her hand. Draupadi doesn't know what gets into her, but she slaps Kichaka. Kichaka has almost equivalent strength to Bhima. And he doesn't know what has happened to him, but the power of that slap is such that he falls. Then Bhima comes later and Bhima kills Kichaka. But Draupadi wonders, how did I slap Kichaka so hard? The answer to this is, when she looked up into the sky and she said, protect me, Surya. Surya has various forces around him in the Aditya Mandala. Amongst them, some forces are called as the Rakshasa Ganas. Rakshasas is not in this context what we think Rakshasas are. Amongst those Rakshasas, he sent one saying, go and be with her. That Rakshasa went and hid in Draupadi's hand. That Rakshasa is the one that slapped Kichaka. One namaskaram to Surya gave her this. That is Govinda. One namam said with power, with intention and with Sharanagati can do this. Look at all these instances of Govinda Nama that have come so far. When it came, when Bhudevi was slipping into the water, Bhutattvam, Jalatattvam mixed up in a disproportionate way. It came when Sita Devi was in Shoka Samudram. Again, life is mixed and mixed up in a very unhealthy proportion. Here, again in Krishna Avataram, Jalatattvam coming from above, Bhutattvam in the form of Govardhana Parvatam, mixed up. But the namam that can maintain the balance in your life, when you think things are mixed up, I don't know what to do, I'm so confused between these two things that are happening. If you ever have a situation like that in your life, which I presume every single one of us goes through at some point or the other, Govinda Namam is the answer to that. Govinda will come and pick you up because Govinda Namam has that ability. Jalatattvam, Prithvi Tattvam. In our lives, to translate what Jalatattvam and Prithvi Tattvam stand for, Prithvi Tattvam is about the element of stability. Jalatattvam is about the element of fluidity. When we are caught between being very rigid and being flexible and we don't know which is the path for us, I don't know what to do, that Govinda Namam will come and show us the way out. Look at the rituals that we have with this Namam. There is a sampradayam of doing Achamaniya before we begin any puja, before we begin anything. In that, Govinda Namam comes. Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, Govinda. If you take most of the Achamaniya processes, begins with Keshavaya Swaha, Narayana Swaha, Madhavaya Swaha. For Govinda, we wash our hands. We don't know because we treat Achamaniyam as if it's something less important than the ritual. We're washing our hands with what water? Jalatattvam has come over there. We're leaving that water where? Into the ground. Govinda Namam itself is combining these two. That Namam, when we say it on a daily basis, we're invoking the essence of the avataram. If you do it with awareness, it will change your life. It will not just change your life, it will change the lives of those around you. I want to end with the story of one bhakta who showed us how Namam is so powerful that when you hold on to that Namam, it will bring benefit to everybody around if your pursuit is sincere. This bhakta used to constantly talk about Nama Mahima. And he said, even if you don't know what Namam means, if it is entering your ears, and if you are saying it out loud, it will cleanse you. This is what he said in a pravachanam. Then that evening after the pravachanam, he went to one bhakta's house and he had dinner over there. When he was having his dinner in that bhakta's house, the bhakta's son came. That bhakta's son was both deaf and mute. And this man thought to himself, "Naan yen helidini?" That when Bhagavat Namam enters your ears or Bhagavat Namam comes out of your mouth, in either of those cases you will be blessed. Automatically you will have paramatma. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಮಗುಗೆ ಎರಡೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. He cannot do any of those things. How will Bhagavat Namam protect him then? ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸುಳ್ಳ, is all of this a lie? Anta he thinks to himself. And he's feeling very bad about it. He finishes the dinner and he leaves. The parents of the child go to see him off. They walk with him. Meanwhile, the bale ele on which he has eaten is still like that. The child is waiting for the parents to come back. He becomes hungry. So Ashtotralle, before his parents come back and feed him food, whatever little food is left on the bale ele of this Yatindra who visited their house, he eats that. By the time the parents come back, the boy looks at them and they know that he doesn't speak. They understand. So immediately they just tell him, we'll feed you. And he's also deaf, so he cannot hear. So through sign language, they tell him, he looks at his mother and he says, Rama, Rama, Amma, Harshva agta ide. The parents are surprised. They run back to the Yatindra and say, what happened? And that's when they understand that the power of the Yatindra's Rama Nama Sankirtanam was so much that Rama Nama Prabhavam was there in the food that he left behind. That food this boy ate and this boy was able to speak. That Bhakta was none other than Bhagavan Nama Bodhendra Swamigal, one of the Acharyas of the Kanchi Parampara. And these stories talk about what Namam will do. If you are chanting Namam and you go to a place, that Namam will protect the people in that place. We always worry about what kind of sampada can I give the next generation? What can I do for them? The biggest sampada you can give them is Nama Sampada, Bhakti Sampada. Do it not by announcing it. Live that life. The next generation will follow it by seeing what you do, not what you say. I think with that, more and more can be said about Govinda Nama Mahima, but rather than speaking, instead of speaking 3 hours about the power of a lamp, if we just light a lamp, it does the job. Similarly, instead of speaking more about the Mahima at this point, can we collectively sing the Mahima of Govinda Nama? Can we say to that bhavam that we are hearing it as if a rahasyam is going inside our being and we are saying it as if it is the last time that we are chanting with this body? Can we do that together? So for that, I have 2 of my very talented friends who came just for this to share with us the power of Govinda Nama. 2 wonderful singers, Archana and Samanvi. Can you please join us on stage? They will lead us through Govinda Nama. This is meant to be a collective experience. So I'd invite you also to remove your padarakshas and immerse yourself in Govinda.
Govinda, 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 Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Govinda, 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 Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. विष्णो श्री कृष्ण राधावर गोकुलेश गोवर्धन नाथ नाथ विष्णो जिह्वे पिब स्वामृतमेतदेव जिह्वे पिब स्वामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द 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 भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति डुक्रं करणे नहि नहि रक्षति डुक्रं करणे भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते गोविन्द कृष्ण जय गोपाल कृष्ण जय गोपाल पाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय गोविन्द कृष्ण जय गोपाल कृष्ण जय गोपाल पाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण 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 जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण 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 जय गोविन्द कृष्ण जय गोपाल कृष्ण जय गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय गोविन्द कृष्ण जय गोपाल कृष्ण जय गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय गोविन्द गोपाल हरि नारायण गोविन्द गोपाल हरि नारायण हरि म्हणा तुम्ही गोविंद म्हणा तुम्ही गोपाल म्हणा हरि नारायण हरि म्हणा तुम्ही गोविंद म्हणा तुम्ही गोपाल म्हणा हरि नारायण हरि म्हणा तुम्ही गोविंद म्हणा तुम्ही गोपाल म्हणा हरि नारायण गोविंद गोपाल 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 नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण गोविंद गोपाल नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो गोविंद बोलो हरि गोपाल बोलो राधा रमण हरि गोपाल बोलो राधा रमण हरि गोपाल बोलो गोविंद बोलो 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 हरि गोपाल बोलो गोविंद
nothing is left to be said after that. Just want to express my gratitude to Archana and Samanvi for sharing their voices and lending all that much more prana shakti, and also to Veena Akka, who trusted me to be here on a day so important to Govindacharya and to spend this hour talking about the power of the name that manifested through all the work, all the bhandaram that he left us with. May that blessing of his and that namam be on all of us. Swasti.
ಶ್ರೀ ಗೋವಿಂದ ನಾಮ ಮಹಿಮೆಯನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟ ವಿನಯ ವಾರಣಾಸಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ವಂದನೆಗಳು. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ನಾಮ ಭಜನೆಯನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಿಕೊಟ್ಟ ಸಮನ್ವಿತ ಮತ್ತು ಅರ್ಚನಾ ಅವರನ್ನು ಮಲ್ಲೇಪುರಂ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಾಣಿಕೆಯ ಮೂಲಕ ಗೌರವಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ.